Okay, let's start. So before the break, we were creating this card, the card view. So that would be exercise number 5. And so this card we added to a list, and then we added some fields to the list to make sure that it has different views as well, rather than just the card view. We also made sure that the initial view of the card is initial view of the list is the card view, right? So we added the card to the list, and then we added some fields so the list can have different views. Also, we added this initial view keyword, and we added this card view as the initial view. And something to note here is that this initial view has to come before the card, otherwise it would not work, right? So in Orina, sometimes the order of things is important, and you need to make sure that the correct order of the things are there, right? Or order of the statements, right? So that's exercise number 5. And but there's some improvement that you can do on this exercise, and that's considering there's another part of the exercise that actually uses this card. I'm not exactly sure where that is, but somewhere down the line, uh, I think here. So this card, TR branch card, is used again. So the way it is actually defined right now, what we will have to do is we will have to actually redo this whole thing. We will have to actually declare another TR branch card where we need that, and then we will have to code this whole thing again. Uh, that is because whatever you create within a client file cannot be used elsewhere, right? Uh, but there's a certain file type in Orina that allows you to reuse things that you declare inside that file type. So if we actually move this card into that sort of file, so these files are called fragments. So what you can do is you can actually declare something in a file called a fragment, and that fragment could be included in other files. So this is kind of similar to how you would include other header files in C or C++. So just like that, you can actually reuse code uh, from fragment files. So let me show you how to do that, and you might get a better understanding on what that is when I do that, right? So what I'll do is I'll just right click this client, and then new fragment model. So please do it with me. So if you are anybody not logged into the VM, I can give you a minute. If you haven't, let me know. Just unmute the mic and let me know. You align your VMs, right? Okay, so what you can do is right click on the client and then new fragment model. And this would create a file with the dot fragment extension. I'll name this file because we are going to hold the trn branch card in that fragment. I'll name it trn branch card fragment. Then chat as well. So this exercise number 5 continued, right? And I'll have a new topic, create making card reusable maybe. So we are creating a card, a file called trn branch fragment dot fragment, and I'll finish it, and it should create a new file for me. And there are a couple of things you will see straight away. That is, this file is broken into a couple of sections, just like our projection or client files. And there's a fragments section, and then there's a client fragments section, and then a projection fragment section. So what you can do is in the client fragments, you can declare client elements, lists, cards, uh, things like that, right? And you can reuse those client fragments elsewhere by including this file. And I'll let you know. I'll tell you how to include this file in from other files as well. Right? In the projection fragments section, you can declare things that you would otherwise declare in a projection file, and then you would include this fragment file from the projection, right? So that way, whatever that is in the projection fragments will be included to the projection file. So let's see what we can do. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to just go to these cards, and then I'll copy all of these, not copy, I'll just cut it. I'll just cut it. So this is from manage companies client. Okay, I'll cut the TR branch card from manage companies client, save it there, and then I'll move that code to the client fragments section of the fragment file. So in fact, I don't need this card section here. I'll remove it. Right. So move the TR branch card, just cut it, and also I can yeah, I'll leave this commented code. Right. So this is there in the client fragment section. So we have moved the card to the client fragment section, and now if I try to deploy the manage companies.client file, it'll complain. It'll give you an error saying that TR branch card, this reference is not found. So that is because in the list, we are trying to use the TR branch card, but we have moved that into another file, isn't it? So we have to actually tell the code generator that our our declaration of TR branch card is in this fragment file, and we need to include that. So the way to do that is you can scroll all the way up, and there you will find a section called fragments in the manage companies.client file, right? And in the fragments, what you can do is you can say include fragment, and then you can have a fragment name. So if you do a control space, it'll tell you that there's a fragment file called tr branch card fragment. So that's what I'll use. So include fragment tr branch card fragment. And if I do that, so let me so move move trn branch card to trn branch card fragment, and then do this inside manage companies. Is it manage companies? So let me put that bit of code in the chat as well. So now if you deploy it, it deploys just fine. And in fact, if I refresh the branches page, it works just like before. And if you have doubts, I can do a little change in the branch card, which is now in the fragment file. So let's say company ID is this, and then branch ID, something like this. And in fact, if I try to deploy this fragment file right now, it'll you can't really deploy a fragment file. It'll pop up a list of files that this fragment has included. So it'll ask you to deploy the manage companies.client file. So that is exactly what we want to do, right? So I'll generate and deploy for that, and then I can refresh these branches. Yeah, and now I have this long, I don't know, long title label for it. Not exactly optimal, but the change is there, right? So I'll give you a minute to do that as well. I'll just revert this change. It doesn't look nice. So that I did that change just to show that the code from the fragment is included, not something that is cached or anything, right? So, so you can try that as well. So why did we do that? We want to reuse the TRN branch card, and if the TRN branch card was in the manage companies.client file, we would not be able to do that. However, if you move these UI declarations or declarations of UI elements to a fragment file, you can include it from other files. So that's what we have done here. So we have included that fragment, the TRN branch card fragment, from this manage companies.client. So any questions about that? No questions? Okay. Right. So I hope you have done that. Let me know if you need more time. Okay. Right. So there's a bit of a problem in here. So see if you can spot it. Anybody, can you spot the problem? So I'll tell you that this fragment isn't self-contained, and if some other files other than the managed company's client try to include it, those files might have deployment errors. Can you see why that is?
Because of the references to the country and area.
Yes. Yeah, that is exactly why. So and there's a question: did we change anything on the TR branch card? We did, but it's not important. So I just changed this just to show that I have moved this branch card to the fragment file, and then if I do any changes, so they are reflected. Just to show that, right? Nothing else. Yeah. So again, there's a problem. That is this TRN country ref and TRN area ref. These two, and even this commented out TRN company ref, it doesn't matter. But if we comment it out or uncomment it at some point, it could also be a problem. The problem is that when this branch card fragment was in the managed companies client, we could use these references because they are, even though they are declared in the enterprise handling projection, that enterprise handling projection is kind of included in the managed companies client by this line of code. Therefore, any included fragments can also benefit from this projection declaration, and the references would be available to any code that is declared in the fragment. So this works, the references work. However, if some other client file that doesn't include this enterprise handling projection tries to include this TRN branch card, it'll get an error. It'll have a problem. That is because uh, that client file might not have this TRN branch, the references in the TRN branch. So how to solve that problem? So to solve that problem, what you can do is you can make this TRN branch card self-contained, or maybe this fragment file self-contained. To do that, what you can do is you can get the references here as well. So what I can do is I can just cut this, just cut the override for TRN branch. My right click doesn't work for some reason. So I'll cut the override for TRN branch and then come back, and within the projection fragment section, I can paste it. So again, so the client elements have to go in the client fragment section of a fragment file, and then the projection fragments has to go in here, right? So now I can save it, and I'll save the projection as well, and I'll deploy the projection. All good. And then I'll try to deploy the client right now. And I'm getting an error. Cannot find projection data item for trn branch dot trn company ref. So why is that? So we have actually we do have that company ref here, and we are including it in the client. So what's the problem here? The problem is that when you include a fragment file from a client, only the parts of the client fragments are included. So it would not include the projection fragments, right? So therefore, what you can do is you have to include the projection fragments uh, in the projection that this client is using. So what you can do is you can copy this part, include fragment TRN branch card fragment, and put that in the fragment section of the projection. Right? So when you do that, what happens is the projection tries to include the fragment TRN branch card fragment, and it sees that there are some things in the projection fragment section of the TRN branch card fragment, and it will include this part, and then this projection will have this TRN branch override, right? And then this projection is then used by the manage companies.client because of this line of code. And therefore, now we have both the parts of the branch card fragment. The client fragments are included by this line, and then the projection fragments are included by using the enterprise handling projection, which is including the projection fragments there, right? So is that clear, guys? So let me deploy the client right now, and it will work.
Excuse me, Sampath.
Yes.
Could you please explain the last section again, please, about that?
Right. Okay. So what was our problem? Our problem was that our branch card wasn't self-contained, right? So there was some references that wasn't there. So if you include the branch card fragment from some other file, you would have errors. Therefore, what we did was we moved these references, or the override that had the references, to the projection fragments, right? And then what we did was we tried to deploy this client file, and it failed. The reason is that this include fragment statement in the client file will only include the this part, just the client fragments, right? So even though this is declared, uh, including this fragment from the client file will not will not get this override into the scope of the client file. So is that understood, Nishanta?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So so in order to get this into the scope, what you have to do is you have to get the projection fragments into some projection file, and then include that projection in the client file. like this. So of course, there's a projection that is used in the client file that is enterprise friendly. So what we are doing is we are using this include fragment statement in the projection file as well, apart from the client file, and we are trying to get the projection fragments into the projection. So what do we need to what do we need for the branch card to work, or the branch card reference to work in here? Uh, so where is that? There. Oh, there, right? So what do we need? So we need the declaration of the card, which is included by include fragment this statement in the client file, right? And we also need the references, which is included by this statement in the projection file, and then that reference can be used because we are actually including the projection in the client file. So is that understood?
Yeah. But
Okay. So thanks for that question.
thank you.
Right. So what we have done is we have actually made the TRN branch card as well as this references for TRN branch reusable, right? So I can try to deploy it, and it will show you these two things as dependents. So there's a projection as well as a client file, and I can generate code and deploy, and it will do the right thing. Right? So that's a bit about code reuse, and we will actually use this fragment file again in a short while. Right. So that is exercise number 5 to the conclusion. And so any questions so far? So this is a big kind of a new topic. So here we are going to create a new customization project. So before that, do you have any other questions? Right. So if you don't have any other questions,
so I was
yes,
wondering, is it widely used, fragments?
it is widely used. It is
Okay.
maybe it is used a lot in R&D. I'm not exactly sure. Of course, you guys are more interested on customization, isn't it? So maybe in customizations, maybe not, because there's not a lot to reuse when you're doing a customization. But in R&D, I know for a fact that it is very much used, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm from R&D core, so it's gonna. That's
Oh,
why I asked.
yeah. So which team are you from,
The
Mohammed?
R&D core experience framework.
Oh, experience.
I'm new
Okay,
there,
okay.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, so you will see that if you're working with Orina clients, I'm not sure if the experience framework works with Orina a lot. But if you are working with Orina, you'll see that fragments are used, maybe not everywhere, but they are fairly used. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Sampath Gregory here.
Yes, Gregory.
Yeah. Will you actually talk about reusing fragments from different components as well? Like a fragment
Yes,
which is included in a different component other than the one which we are using, or
we
which we
will,
are actually
because we are going to use this fragment. So this fragment is, as you can see, is declared in the TL and ENT component. So we will be using this fragment from another component. So I will show you how to do that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing about fragments is you might have noticed that there's another fragments section. So it could be fragments all the way down. So you can declare fragments, and then you can use fragments from other fragments, and then you can use those fragments from yet another fragment, right? And so you can keep on doing that, and until you can use the fragment from some proper client or projection file, right? So this can be nested. The fragment use can be nested because of this fragment section. And here too, what you can do is include fragment and whatever the other fragment you might want to use, right? Yeah. So that's about fragments. And is there any code I need to? I don't think so. Yeah. So that I have given you. Right. So next we have a bit of a new topic and new section of the exercise as well. And requirements outline inventory. And it says copy the provided application base code for the inventory component into the appropriate folder, and uh, then it's customizing, right? So this is about customizing, right? So if you're from a customer or a partner or consulting or even support, you might be now very excited about how to do customizations in Orina. Right? So let me show you how to do that, but there's a bit of a prep work we need to do uh, before we do that. So give me a moment. So yeah, let me explain what we are going to do. So far we have been working on IFS. We have been working on a IFS core development project. So if I get the project properties, uh, it's an IFS R&D core project. So if I can show you the new project dialog as well. So you might have seen that there are 4 types of projects that you can have, and what you chose when you created this project was this IFS R&D core project. This is to say that we have been working much like how R&D would work, right? So what R&D would do is, so they are supposed to create the so-called core code, and when they do that, they don't think about existing code. They might create everything new, right? But this is not exactly the way we work in creating new modifications for our customers, maybe. So in this next exercise about inventory, we will be seeing how we can do a customization. And to do that, uh, we need to do some prep work, like I said. And before that prep work, we need to start with a different type of project as well. So let me cancel this and I'll just collapse this project. And so you can work with me here. So I'm going to create a new, uh, let me also close everything down. So close all. So I'm going to start fresh, right? So close everything, just collapse this project as well, and then try to create a new project. So you can work with me here. And then from the choose project section, or maybe the choose project step. So last time we chose the R&D core project, but this time what we are going to do is we are going to use IFS customization project. So again, you might have learned about the layered application architecture in if you went to the base server workshop before this, and you should have, if it worked perfectly, you should have gone to the base server workshop, and then you might have come to here, come the Orina workshop. So I'm assuming that you know what layered application architecture is, right? So basically what we are doing is we are actually we have something called R&D core code, that is whatever the code that is created and maintained by IFS R&D. And on top of that, you have customized code. So what happens is sometimes our customers need some kind of a different functionality, and then we have to modify how IFS applications behaves. And to do that, you need to change the code. But what you do is you don't actually go and modify R&D created code. Rather, you will create a layer of code on top of the R&D core code, and that with that code you would modify whatever the R&D code there is, right? So these customization projects are for that, to create modifications. So I'll choose customization project, and then I'll go next. And so few things here. So project folder type, leave it as fresh. And then for the project name, since we used Orina Core for the core, the previous project, what I'll do is I'll use Orina Cust. So you can also use this name as well. I'll put that in the chat. And then the project location could be the same location where your other project is. So in my case, that is C workspace. So this is where my Arena core is. So I'm choosing the same location, C workspace, and the project folder would be C workspace Arena cust.
Excuse me, can I have a quick question?
Yes. Yes,
Can you go
Janos.
back one step, please, to see
Sure.
the type of possible project types? So we
Yeah.
have, I'm interested in these two kinds of extension projects because we are partners and we do customizations. And for instance, in App 10, we have we would like to have our own extension layer for the country-specific things, and for the customer-specific things, the customization project. And it wasn't possible in App 10 because there was only 3 layers, core, ext, and cust, and get global extensions. This is something maintained by R&D. Occupy the extension layer, and then all we left was the customization cust layer. So I'm wondering if it now we have 4 layers, or this is the 2 extension ones, both of them would build on the core layer.
Yeah, so I've got some bad news for you because so we had 4 types of project, but we had 3 layers. So there was this core layer, and then this extension and local extension projects. They were both in the ext layer in App 10, right? And then there was the cust layer, right?
Yeah.
However, what has happened is in the later years, and even in IFS Cloud, what we have done is we have actually moved the extensions to the core layer. A lot of them are even Get, and a lot of other extensions are now maintained by R&D, and they are in the core layer. So we are actually sort of the extension layer is now actually deprecated. So you might not find the extension layer. So if you go to the Arena core workspace and look at the layers INI, so there's a base and core. So I'll show the layers INI of the newly created project when we create the project, right? But the extension layer is now gone in IFS Cloud, and the idea is that everything has to be in the customization layer if you are doing something, and extensions are largely not encouraged to. Even for IFS regions too, we are telling that don't create extensions, and if there are any generic requirements, you have to bring it to IFS, and then R&D will take over that requirement. So that's the maybe the thought process or policy, or maybe something like that. But the extensions are not encouraged right now, and extension layer is even gone, right? So we have the base core and cust layers. So I see the requirement, but so that's the bad news I have for you.
Okay, I can understand. We'll see how we can handle this for ourselves. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Right, so I'll go to the next. So I have the project name and the project location, and then target version. You have to choose 22R1. I trust that was the version. So 22R1 GA. So I trust that was the version you used for the Arena core. Right, so 22R1 GA target version. 22R1 GA. And then I'll go to the next page. And here you are asked for a customer information file. And this is also a sort of a relic from App 10 era. So now you might not want to have a customer information file because we needed that because we were working with Harvest. But in IFS Cloud, we don't need Harvest because we are not using Harvest. We are using Git. So therefore, you don't need a custom information file. So I'll just skip the custom information setup. So with the custom information file, you could actually connect to the Harvest brokers and all those things, but we don't need that for 21R1, right? So I'll skip the custom information setup. And ideally, when I chose the 22R1 GA target, they should have skipped this custom information setup, I guess, but it doesn't happen. But we can skip it ourselves. And technologies, we'll leave it as is. And then databases. So I can add the same database that I'm using. So you should also have that. So just click add, and there you should have the database, and then just click OK. And for good measure, just select that again, and then set it as the main database. So let me know if you are stuck or need some time or not sure about any setting here. I can just finish it, and it should create a new project. Right. So I hope you got this working. You got this new project right now. And there's something I need to talk about this build home. Right. So what we are going to do here is, so if you check this uh, requirements outline, we are going to get a component or maybe source code for a component called inventory. So TRN INV, right? Or training inventory, right? And uh, we are actually going to work on this TRN INV component, and it also depends on our TRN ENT component as well. So to work on these exercises, you need this TRN ENT and TRN INV components, right? So in app 10, what you did was when you are developing customizations, you would actually point your project to a build home. So if I get the properties, I'm not sure if I'm still able to, yeah. So in some target versions, for example, 10, no, so it is actually disabled, right? So let me cancel that. So I don't want to change the version, right? So in certain versions of the uh, projects, what you will see is there's a certain build home that you can specify. So I don't want that. And the reason for that is when you are doing customizations, you are actually changing existing code, isn't it? So there should be a way to actually refer to existing entities, existing entities, basically exist entities and existing code. And the way you did that was you would actually provide a build home for your project, and the IDE is actually able to scan the build home and use those entities as a for example code completion and all those things, code completion and things like that, right? But in IFS Cloud, there's a difference, and that is actually specified in a certain IFS community article. So let me get that for you. So this one, let me put that link in the chat as well. So around yeah. So last year, build home is no longer available in Developer Studio from 21 R2 onwards. And the reason is that, so the build home isn't available. And the reason is that we are working with Git, and you are actually supposed to check out the whole archive. So there are certain, description of uh, why this is necessary. And it somewhere here it says, yeah, so IFS expect the developers to have the full checkout of their of their local workspace to fulfill the requirements of missing build home. So you are expected to actually do a full Git checkout. So you have to have all the components checked out into this workspace directory in order to work, right? And then you check all that out, and then you will start working, right? Uh, but we are not going to do that right now. Instead, what we are going to do is we are going to copy the absolute minimum code we need to work, right? So there are two things we need to do. So hope that is okay with you. So we need to ideally check out the code, but we can't check out several gigabytes of code right now. Therefore, what we'll do is we'll copy the absolute minimum code we need, and that absolute minimum code is they already have tr and ent component code, and then some extra code I will give you in a moment, right? So the first thing I would like you to do is please go to your Orina core project, right? Go to the workspace and the Orina core, and inside the workspace there would be your tr and ent component. So these are the files we have been working on so far, right? So just copy this tr and ent directory and then paste it in the Orina cast workspace. So let me put that, copy the tr and ent from Orina core workspace to Orina cast workspace. So instruction is in the chat. Go to the Orina core and then copy the tr and ent component, and then come back to the Orina cast workspace and then paste it there. And also I'll copy these two files, this zip file, Orina customization base zip, and then register tr and inv SQL. So these two files, please copy it from public share day 4 into your VMs, ideally into the training resources. So copy this into your training resources. So again, it's in the public share. And if anyone is not using the public share right now, let me post that link in here in the chat as well. Right, can I get a raise of hands if you have copied these files? Have you copied the tr and ent and copied these two files? So if you're getting confused, please let me know, because this is important, because otherwise we will not be able to go forward with this. Please keep your hand raised so I can see if anyone's having trouble. Chintak and Sansashriya, how about you guys? Okay. Chintak, how about you? All good? All right. Okay. Then let me lower your hands. Right. So so I said that there are two parts of code you need. So one of them is the TR and ENT, and then I said there's some other piece of code you need as well. So that code is in the Orina customization base zip, right? So just right click on this base zip file and then 7-zip extract files. So let me do that again. Right click on the Orina customization base zip and then 7-zip extract, not extract here, just extract files. And then give your workspace directory. So that would be Orina cust workspace. So copy this. So give Orina cust workspace as the extract location and then press OK. And apart from TR and ENT, you should see this FND BAS and TR and INV directories in the workspace now, right? So let me know if anyone doesn't see this after extracting. I'll give you a minute to do that. Okay, so yeah, let me know if you're falling behind. So another hint that you have done it correct is so if you don't see this, just right click on components and do a refresh, and then you should see these three FND BAS, TRNENT, and TRNINV. So in FND BAS, you should see a single enumeration FND Boolean, and then in the TRNENT, you should see these entities and these client files you've been working with, right? And then yeah, so that's TRNENT, and then TR and INV should have a lot of things. I will talk about what they are in a second. All good. So anyone, if anyone isn't seeing this, let me know.
Can you go back to that Arena Cast workspace folder? I would just want to see because I.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got another folder called NB project or something.
NB project. So this one. So maybe then.
Wait a second. I think I.
Yeah. So you have to have it inside the workspace. So there should be a layers INF file.
Yeah, sorry, it went to the wrong folder. I'm going to do it one more time.
Any others who are having trouble?
Yeah, now it's good for me. Thank you.
It's good, right? So you can also see these three components in. So you can just refresh it if it doesn't show up. It's visible, isn't it, Roy?
Yeah, just give me a time to refresh. Yep, I see all. Yeah, I see all that stuff now. Thank you.
Excellent. Right. Okay. So anyone else having trouble? No, I guess. Okay. So our prep is halfway there, or maybe 70% there. Uh, there are some things we need to deploy as well. Uh, First of all, this TR and INV, even though we are copying this code, that doesn't mean the database and the IFS instance knows that there's a TR and INV component. So I think we have talked about it last week in IFS Cloud. So this is not necessary in Apteno, even in very early IFS Cloud versions. But I think from 21 R2, we need to do something called registering the component if you are using a new component. So this TR and INV, I think you have done it for TR and ENT as well. So this TR and INV is a new component. So therefore, what I can do is I can open up this register TR and INV SQL. And there's a bit of code that will help us register the TR and INV component. Right? So let me copy that bit of code. And then come back to the IDE, and then I'll right click on the database and then choose execute command. And then I'll paste the things I copied from that register TR and INV SQL file. So this is, I think, self-explanatory. So it actually calls this module API dot create and set version. So this is how we say we tell an instance that there's a new component. So this is typically not necessary because in a build process this will happen automatically. However, we are just we are just hacking, aren't we? We are just copying code here and there. So therefore there's no build process. So instead we have to manually do this registering part, right? So after I copy this code, I'll execute this here, and then yeah, it should finish without any errors.
Excuse me, question.
Yes.
So this is you were talking about the build process, but
Yes.
is it something like AutoBuilder used to be in App10?
Yes, it is something like AutoBuilder. What happens in IFS Cloud is that so these are so the AutoBuilder isn't there in IFS Cloud anymore. However, there's a similar process called so there's a build process, and there are different build processes. So with AutoBuilder, you just click something and then it works, or there's a scheduled build. Something like that can be there in IFS Cloud as well. What happens is there's this something called Azure pipelines, which is a kind of a background process that runs in Azure DevOps, right? So this pipeline, this process is responsible for actually, the same thing AutoBuilder did, fetching the code and building it and then installing it and creating environments. So all those things will happen automatically in IFS Cloud. So there's a course for build place in this IFS Academy LMS. So I'll encourage you all to look at it, and it explains actually how these different build processes are initiated and how they work. Right. So what you can do is if you are doing a customization, so typically there is so customer's code is in a Git repository, and you would create a Git branch, right? So whatever you work on the customization would be on that branch, and what you can do is you can create a build for that branch with your changes, and there will be an environment that is created for that has your changes, right? And you can test that changes in that environment, right? So all those things, unlike Captain, you don't have to go and get a VM and then copy the build and then run installer and everything. So all those things are automated, so it's much easier for technicians. And what will happen is there's this automated process that will do the build just like the auto builder, and then it will create the environments as well. So so in that process this registering will happen. However, if you are creating a new component in a customizations, sometimes you might need to do something like this. So manually register the component for the first time, and afterwards when you commit the code and do a build on that code, it'll work every time. It'll work every time afterwards, right?
Okay, but so either I do this manually like we are doing it now, or I put the deploy of the new component into Git and run this whole process, and this will do the same.
It will do the same. Actually,
component.
Actually, this registering happens by looking at the deploy ini, and so that is part of that Azure pipeline that I talked about. So the build pipeline will ensure that the component registration happens.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And that's a very good question. Yeah. So right, where were we? Right. So we registered the component, and then now that we have registered it, we can start deploying stuff in the component. So you will find that there's a bit of things in here. So several entities, a utility logical unit, and then there's an enumeration, and then there are some client files as well in this TRN IME component. So first I'll do is I'll deploy this enumeration file. So right click on this TRN communication type, and then do a generate and deploy code. And I'm wondering what the invalid object is. Okay, let's see. Right. So if you deploy the enum, what you can then do is you can select these all these entities. So click on TRN brand, and then with the shift, I will click TRN unit. So that selects all those things, and then with control pressed, I will select TRN inventory prod util, this utility logical unit. So select all of these things, and you should get an error in this step. And yeah, try to generate code and deploy. And ideally, you should get a bunch of errors. Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of errors. And the deployment summary will tell me that all the APIs and APYs and everything has actually failed. Can anyone think of a reason for this?
So mutual references, and we need to run it again.
Come again, Janos?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have another answer. Maybe the tables are missing.
Yeah, tables are missing, and the reason for that is, so if you actually go to the core project. So let me expand that core project again, and to make it clear, I'll close all the output tabs, right? So if you go to TRN ENT and go to an entity, let's say TRN country, so that's easier. So if I try to generate and deploy code, yeah, it'll ask for table spaces. I'll say okay. And in the deployable summary, you will see that there are 4 files that are deployed. So there's a CRE file, an API, APV, and an APY. However, if you come to Orina, the customization project, so let me, TRN brand? Okay, so let's say TRN brand. If I try to generate code and deploy for that one only, So it is failing, but it fails three things, and we can see that only three files are deployed, right? So we can see that there's the API, APV, and APY, but the CRE isn't deployed. So the problem is that in customization project, CRE file isn't deployed automatically. And in the CRE file, if I look at the code, in the CRE files, you have the table definitions. And if the CRE files are not deployed, the result is that the APIs and APIs and everything, they can't be deployed, right? So that is the nature of the customization project, and there's a reason for that. The reason is that in customization project, you are doing customization, and you are not supposed to create tables from scratch. So therefore, typically it doesn't deploy the CRE files, which creates the tables. So the remedy is that you have to put the table creation code into a redeployable CDB file, and that CDB file is available in the database scripts. And if I open up this database scripts and this deploy tr and inv CDB, you will see that all the table definitions for tr and brand and inventory and all those things are there. So what I can do is I can deploy the CDB file right now. So right click on the CDB file and then deploy to database and then choose your database. So that should succeed, and I'll give you maybe 30 seconds to deploy it. Let me know if you're having trouble. And then let me close all the tabs just to get it cleared. And now we should be able to deploy everything. So I'll click the brand, and with shift, I'll select everything. Or you can do the same with control pressed. And then with control pressed, I will also select the utility. So you need to select this utility as well. Otherwise, it won't compile, because some of these logical units, they also use the utility as well. So these things have to be deployed simultaneously. So I'll right click and do a generate code and deploy for all these entities and the utility. It should succeed. I'll give you a minute to deploy it as well. Right. So if you deployed the entities and the utility, what you can do is you will find under the database scripts, you will find a bunch of INS files. So these INS files actually contain data for the logical units that you just deployed. For example, this TRN brand INS has a bunch of insert statements. So what you can do is you can select all these INS files and then right click and deploy them as well. Deploy to the database and then choose your database. So they should be okay. So unlike these other files, you will not be able to deploy them twice. So if you try to deploy them twice, you will get errors, because these files have insert statement, and if you try to run the same insert statement twice, you know that you will encounter a primary key collision. So I'll give you 30 seconds to deploy those INS files as well. and let me know if you have any trouble.
My TRN inventory con method failed. Looks like the communication type was not created.
Communication type. Yeah, so maybe you did not deploy this enumeration. So just right
Okay.
click on this, deploy the enumeration, and then try again, please.
Good.
Yes, all okay, I guess.
Yep. All good.
Okay, okay. Right, so lastly, so I'll talk what these are. Right, so lastly, just deploy this client file. So there are two projections. There's a navigator projection for the navigator as well as another projection, and then you have a navigator client file and some other client file. So just select these four files and then generate code and deploy. So deploy the client files too. I'll give you 30 seconds to do that as well. Let me know if you are seeing any errors, problems, any red text.
So yeah, I'm getting some errors, quite a lot of them.
Okay, so what's the step you're on, Mohammed?
I followed your last step, so I generated and deployed the client files.
Okay, so can I know your VM number, please?
Yeah, it's 112.
112. Okay, I'll take over for a second.
Thank you.
And also, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I'm just guessing. Okay, let me know if I'm wrong.
How did you pronounce it? I didn't hear it actually.
Mohammed.
Yeah, it's Mohammed. It's just
Okay.
it's pronounced differently. It's spelled differently in my
Okay,
country.
okay. Right, so there's a SVC and a CPI failure. And why is that? Let's see. SVC. Error has been invalidated. That is okay. Let's try to do that again. Now it okay. So for some reason there are 6,000. Right. So did you deploy the FND Boolean by any chance?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So
I was not
that could
supposed
be
to.
the reason. No, but that's okay.
Okay.
What we'll see is, so there are some invalid objects, right? You'll be fine. What I'll do is okay, what can we do? Tiny, are you there? Hello, Tiny. Are you there?
Yes, Sampath. Hope you can hear me.
Tiny, yeah. Tiny, can you do something? So can you get to 112 the DB instance from your machine, and then just do a compile init objects from PLSQL developer. It will take around 20 minutes, I guess. So in the meantime, Mohammed, you can work. It should not be a problem.
Yeah.
But in about 20 minutes to half an hour, your invalid objects will go away, and it will take
Okay.
some time, unfortunately, right?
Yeah. My bad. I was getting distracted, and then I saw you was pointing to the that file. So I was thinking maybe you deployed it. That's why.
Yeah. So that's okay. That's fine. It typically happens every training. So yeah. So that is a problem with not using a proper development setup. So
Yeah.
typically we should check out the Git repo and then work on that. Unfortunately, we have this whole copying code thing.
Yeah.
So that it's kind of confusing.
What
Understandable,
do I
yes.
do in the meanwhile? Do I just
We can do the same thing. So your CPI it deployed correctly when on the second time. So if you're seeing errors, what you can do is you can try to deploy it again, and typically it'll fix that, right?
okay? Thank you.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So let me talk about what we have here in the TR and INE component, and I'll open up these three overview diagrams. And there's a basic data and something. So there's a unit and brand and category brand models. Things that are typically in the inventory. We won't need this, but just I want to show you. And there are this products overview as well. And in there, this the company has products, and then there's a TRN inventory, and then each inventory has inventory products, and this kind of thing is there, right? But we are mostly interested in this inventory overview. So this is what we'll be working on, right? These three LUs. So TRN branch again is coming from TRN ENT, right? So this is not this is actually declared in TRN ENT, right? TRN branch. And then there's these two logical units, TRN inventory and TRN inventory com method, right? So the way this works is each branch has multiple inventories, right? And that is what this aggregate relationship signifies. So let me zoom in a bit, right? So each branch has multiple inventories, and this aggregate relationship tells us that, right? And then the keys for inventories, of course, there are parent keys that come from the branch, which are company ID and the branch ID, and then its own key, inventory ID, right? So there's this inventory ID. You can't really see. There's a rendering problem there. And then you have this inventory com method, which again is the inventory. Each inventory can have different communication methods. So think of it like as maybe there's a person that is responsible for each inventory, and there are multiple methods of contacting that person. Maybe that person has an email and a physical address and a phone number. So there could be different communication methods to contact this inventory. So an inventory can have multiple communication methods, and each branch can have multiple inventories. So there is a setup we have. There are two aggregate relationships, right? So that's what we are going to work on. And then if you go to the manage products, first maybe product handling, the projection, and you can see that certain entity sets are declared. And then in the manage products, you will see that there's a bunch of navigate entries and bunch of pages and all those things, right? So if you go to the Arena client right now, and if I try to refresh it, you will see that there's this manage products top level navigate entry, and it has units, brands, product categories, so on and so forth. We are not interested in this, but then we have this manage inventories. And in there, you will have this inventory products page, right? So this manage inventories top level navigator item is where we will be working, right? So those are the things that we have. You can take a look at if you want what these things represent, right? But the idea is that so there's a bunch of functionality, and from this functionality, some of them we are going to customize. So that is the idea, right? Yeah. So let's see what the exercise says. Right. So it says create a TRN inventory details page to display the TRN inventory instances in the database. So like I said, uh, so there are different inventories, and then each inventory has a list of communication methods. So we want to create a sort of a master detail page or page with a group and a list, and that page will be named TRN inventory details page, and we need to create that, right? And after we create that, you know, all those things are telling us how to create that page, right? So let's try that first. So there's a uh, bunch of fields we have to add to the group. So let's first do that. Okay. So I have that code written elsewhere. So I won't manually write the code, because you already know how to sort of create a I mean uh, create a page, and create navigate entries, all those things you already know, right? But let's here's what I'll do. I'll since we are going to start with a uh, new things, what I'll do is I'll start with new files, right? So what I'll do is I'll actually excuse me, create a new projection model. So that's where I will start, right? So let me collapse all these things so I can see it better. So I'll start with a new projection model and right click new projection model. And since we are trying to do some stuff in the inventory, I'll call this projection model inventory handling, right? No, inventory handling. And notice something that there is, there's this little label saying the layer is cust. So this is because we are using a customization project, and there are some things you will see as well. So create this inventory handling projection, please. So let me put that in the chat as well. So maybe I can get rid of this one and then create a new exercise 6. And I'll finish it. And as soon as you do that, you will notice something that the file name has a dash cust suffix, right? So that is because we are working in the customization layer. So you should be familiar with this. So I'll change this to cust. But you don't need to specify cust in the file creation dialog. It'll add it for us automatically. So in there, since we are working with the inventory, what I'll do is I'll create an entity set. Yeah, another thing is that it says layer cast, whereas if you check our TR and ENT client files, let's say enterprise handling, it says layer core, right? So this is layer, customization layer files, right? So I'll create an entry point that's an entity set. for the TRN inventory, right? TRN inventories for TRN inventory. And let me deploy that. And it works. Let me put that in the file and to the chat as well. So I can now check this newly created projection and let me close that. So instead of enterprise handling, I can paste inventory handling.svc. So let me give that URL to you as well. Should work for you. So change the VM name. There are a couple of stars in the link. Inventory handling. So let me refresh that. So I can see that there's a TRN inventories endpoint, and I can even let's close these things and then go to the URL TRN inventories, and it will list me all the inventories that are available here. Right. Again, I can see the metadata document if I want. That's there too. Right. And then I'll also create a new client model too. So not the TRN ENT, in the TRN INV, right click on the client and then let's create a new client model. And what should I call it? Yeah, since we are managing inventories, I'll just say manage inventories. Inventories. Right. So that should be. Of course, when I finish it, it'll create a manage inventories dash cust.client. Of course, the layer is cust and all those things. And I can try to deploy this file, but it can't find the projection. So therefore, I have to specify the projection as well. So specify the projection just before the description. Projection. Projection name would be inventory handling. So it'll insert the cust suffix as well, cust or the base suffix, but you don't need that, and you shouldn't have that. So just delete that, and then you just have the inventory handling. So projection inventory handling should be there as well, and then you should be able to deploy it. And then since we don't want to waste a lot of time, I'll give you code to create a navigate entry. So this new page has to be added under where does it say where to add it? Right. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll actually since there's a if I can show you this TRN INV navigator route, not the TRN ENT, the TRN INV navigator route, there's a top level navigator called manage inventories. So this is where I'll add it. So I'll go to TRN inventories cust client and then create this navigator entry and the page. Right. So I'll give you the code in a second. So there's a navigator entry which has the manage inventories and inventory as the parent, and its label is inventory details, and it has a page too. So I'll give you this code in a second. Main pages, right? So I can deploy that. It deploys, and then I can test whether that page is available. I can go to the home, refresh it, and then under manage inventories, I should see inventory details, and it should be an empty page. So I'll give you 30 seconds to do that. And if you now check the workshop document again, you need to create a group and a list, right? So let's focus on the group first, and create a group TRN inventory group, and you have to include company ID, branch ID, inventory ID, name, picking lead time, country ID, country, area ID, and area. So that's a bunch of fields. And actually, you can check the TRN inventory logical unit. And if I open that up, you will see company ID, branch ID, inventory ID, name, and the picking lead time, right? So company ID, branch ID, inventory ID, name, and the picking lead time is there in the TRN inventory. However, the country ID, country, area ID, and area are not. So what I'll do is I'll create a group. So I'll give you the code for that group as well. I'll create this group in the client file, and I'll comment these fields that we are unsure of. So we are unsure of country ID, country, area ID, and area because they don't exist in the TRN inventory. So therefore, I'll comment these out. But I'll create this group nevertheless. And I'll add this group to the page as well. So before that, I'll give you 30 seconds to create the group. Just copy paste it because we know how to create a group right now. And I can add the group to the page. Of course, we need a selector, and for the selector, we have, if you go to the base client, we have the TRN inventory selector. We can reuse that. We can add it to the page. We add the selector to the page, and then bind the selector to the group as well. So let me put the code for the page here. And let's deploy it and try it. and I can, yeah. So I have the, sort of the first part, just the group part of this page, and we don't have four fields, these four fields, but it's working. It's working, and it's working as intended. Right. So we have the group and all those things, and then what next? So maybe we can talk about how to get the country ID, country and area ID and area. And if you go to the overview diagram, it's not hard to figure out because so we are in the TRN inventory, and if you are in the TRN inventory, you have a company ID and a branch ID, right? And from the company ID and branch ID, you can refer a TRN branch which has a country ID and an area ID. So you can get the country ID and the area ID using a reference, isn't it? So the country name and the area name is a bit hard. However, you can actually create a reference for TRN branch and get the country ID and the area ID. So let me do that. Let me do just that. So I'll go to the projection, and then what I'll do is I'll override the TRN inventory. Entity TRN inventory, and there I'll create a reference. What do I call TRN branch ref? And branch has keys, company ID, and the branch ID. And to TRN branch, and then company ID and the branch ID. Close the brackets. And then I can deploy this. And let me put that piece of code in here. That's not right. This one. Again, this is in the inventory handling projection. And then you have to do a similar, you have to use that reference in the manage inventories. So to use that reference in the client files, what I can do is I can, instead of field country ID, I could say TRN branch ref dot country ID, as well as TRN branch ref dot area ID. So these two things. Should I copy the whole group? Yes, I guess. And I can, did I deploy it? Yes, I did deploy it. And then if I refresh it right now, I can get the country ID and the area ID. Right? So I'll give you a minute to do that, and we are almost out of time. We are out of time. Yeah, so I'll give you a minute to do that, and I'll finish the session soon. Right. So where are we? So we are actually trying to create a this inventory details window, and we are halfway there. We have created this group, and we have the fields that are available in the TRN inventory, as well as the country ID and the area ID. However, we also need the country name and the area name, and we still don't know how to get that, and we can't actually get that from the from a reference either, because the problem is that to get the country ID and the area ID, so we are in the inventory. To get the country name and the area name, you have to go to the TRN branch to get the country ID and the area ID, and then again do another hop to the TRN country logical unit in order to get the country name, or maybe another, on the other way, to get the area name, you have to do another hop to the TRN area logical unit, right? So with references, you can do a single hop, but you can't do two hops, right? So if we try to create a reference for the country, so see what happens. So reference TRN, let's say country ref, and so then what are the keys we need to use? So if you are creating a reference to TRN country, so you have to specify a country ID, isn't it? So if you want to specify a country ID, do we have a country ID in the TRN inventory logical unit? Unfortunately, we don't. So we don't have a country ID. So that's TRN inventory, right? We don't have a country ID, and there's no way to specify a country ID here for that reason. So therefore, this fails. We can't really create a reference. So we have to actually use another trick to get the country name and the area name, and we will talk about that tomorrow, right? So we will stop the session for today. And before we wind up, do you have any questions? Any last minute questions? Right. So yeah. So let's stop the session for now, and I'll give you a hint before I stop on how to solve this. So if you go to the projections base file, so inventory handling base projection, you will see that each of these entities has attributes. What you can actually do is you can add extra attributes to each of these entities. So what you can do is you can override the entities and you can add attributes to these entities. And so that is my hint for you if you want to try on your own and try to solve it yourself. Right. So take a look at the base projection file, and you might see how to solve it. Right. So yeah. So that's it for today. So we'll stop for now. And sorry for taking 4 or 5 minutes of your time. And we'll meet up tomorrow at the same time. And until then, have fun. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.